Hello, and welcome back to the second part of chapter 14. So today we're going to pick it up with purchase services. The previous video ended with multiple apps that could be connected to the product or tool that you're going to be using. So now if you want to purchase services, that's another way that you go about monitoring what's going on in your campaign. And so these are services that you would purchase, and they would go out and do that legwork for you from what we've been seeing in those previous applications. Some things that they might bring back to you are, your frequently mentioned topics or frequently mentioned hashtags, things like brand mentions or the people who are mentioning the brands. It just kind of depends on the services that you're looking for. And so we've got some different examples coming up here. If we look at this dashboard, we can see topics that are frequently mentioned, and you see in the hashtags, and you can see what was actually done. So this is a Twitter trends report from Sprout Social. Your book goes on to show some other examples. So if you look at the 14.7, you'll see a monthly report. It shows a bunch of different things such as the brand's connections, the number and growth of followers, the contacts with them, measures of engagement and influence demographics, and so on. And and when we look at 14.7, it doesn't show the number of mentions, number of retweets, or information about the tweets. And so you can get a variety of different reports depending on what you've signed up for. And so depending on the services, other companies that provide these services will have very similar features that they're giving you. So when we look at that, it almost looks like an analytics report again. And so you've got, some information up here. It gives you a quick overview of what's going on, some key indicators, your following demographics, and so on. So again, it's something you purchase. They give you the report. You're not creating the report yourself. Another company you may have seen is Radian6. It's now part of Salesforce, which is a CRM type of application. And so that's another place you can go and buy services that will help you with your SMM. And so this is part of a larger organization, and so a lot of big companies might make use of them, and they're going to go out and collect that data and then give you information about your customers, and then also allow ways to automate and personalize your contact with those customers. And then as you can see here, then over various channels and various platforms. So again, the output looks very much like a dashboard, an analytics type dashboard, but you can get the information you're looking at is, how much volume. You're probably looking in between two dates, what kind of analysis was done here, a sentiment analysis, so that's some kind of texting that was done. It gives you some demographic breakdown, just a general, who are the biggest influencers, and so you can monitor that and see how you might want to adjust your campaign from that. But this all goes back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of you need to know what you want to accomplish. I mean, you can have all these reports, and unless you know what you're looking for and what your metrics are for what you want to measure, and whether you know if that's a good measure, if you're doing good or not, or well with your campaign, having all these pieces of information may not help. And so Once you know what you're looking for, then you can get the dashboards, and then from there you can drill down. And when I say drill down is you can click on a piece of information and get more detailed information about that. So the granularity goes to a finer and finer granularity until you get down to maybe the actual data that's coming in, or the certain time frame that you want to look at. So if we look at this graphic, notice here we can actually specify the time frame that we want to look at. So if you just click on one of these tabs up here, it would then break that data down into that particular time frame. We can also look for keywords or things that we're wanting to know. Again, it gives you a dashboard type of output. The next thing we want to talk about is consumer tools for productivity engagement. And so these tools then, in terms of this chapter, are tools that are going to help you manage your social media marketing effort. Now, the example that your book uses here is an AT&T tool that they put out to help their customers pay their bills and track their data usage and so on. And so that app then helps the customer. The same way that the apps may help you manage your SMM campaign. Right? So we're going to use that app not only to help us manage things, but if we give it to our customers who might be using that to help manage some aspect of their social media, then that's going to tie them back into us. And so that's what your book talks about in terms of creating a high switching cost. So you want to get them used to your app or whatever you're helping them with, so that they would feel reluctant to switch to a competitor or someone else because it would be too difficult, or they wouldn't offer the same features that you're offering. So here's the example of the app. It comes on a mobile device, your phone. Customer can open it up and make payments whenever they want. So it makes it rather easy for them to do once they get that set up. So the switching cost then is if they were to switch to a different carrier, would that other carrier have a similar product that would help them pay their bills in an easy manner? Now, they'd also have to set up their accounts and everything on the other system, the other carrier, if they were to switch. So just doing those sort of activities are all part of that switching cost. The last thing that I want to talk about in this chapter is the best practices for these tools. So the one thing the author writes about is don't follow the tool. So it's not so much about being enamored with the tool, it's about knowing what you want to accomplish and then finding the right tool that's going to help you accomplish that. So that's related to focus on the strategy, not the tools. And so if you haven't thought things out very well and you don't have any key performance indicators established and what that truly means, if you do meet those, you're not going to meet your goal or your strategy. So, even the best tools cannot help you rescue a poor strategy or even substitute for a lack of one. So you've got to have that done, that planning done up front. The next thing is to think about what sort of tasks are going to have to be done for your campaign, and then who will be assigned these tasks. Once you have that, then you can think about finding a tool that's going to help you also manage that aspect of the campaign. Can this tool help me assign tasks to different people? Can people use this tool at the same time? Can they get in there and do their work? Can they share the work? And can there be alerts and that go back and forth to different people? Will it meet the different platforms that I need to have in my campaign, and so on? So basically, you're thinking about that. If you're new to using these tools, you want to probably start using a simple tool that you can get used to quickly. And then once you understand how that works and what features are you really like, then you can move on to something else. And so basically, you want them to be worth the money. So a return on investment. And then lastly, you want to be able to use dashboards that are going to give you a quick graphic of what is going on so that not only you, but the people you have to explain to what's going on can easily understand. And then that'll help you make your boss be able to make good decisions from the data that you're receiving. And that ends this chapter on tools for managing the social media marketing effort.